Hello and welcome back. Before we get to part 2, Real Talk, please allow us to fulfill our capitalistic duty and plug our Patreon, the Contrarian Supplements.
That's right. For a small fee, you too can help the Contrarians rage on.
We have tiers ranging from just $1 to $10. It all depends on how much content you can handle.
Starting at $1, it's the Travoltis tier, which gets you access to new bonus episodes focusing on a new movie every month, as well as access to the patron chat. Join other patrons in making fun of our opinions.
Moving up to $3 is the Winoni's tier, which unlocks access to our pre-recording notes, our video reviews, and our spin-off show, Contrarians After Hours.
That's a more laid-back space where we talk about other things we've been watching, reading, playing, thinking about. Sometimes it's related to the movies being covered on the main feed, but it usually isn't.
If you want to be part of those patrons who help us shape the show by telling us which movies to tackle, that's when you sign up for the $5 tier, the Embries, and the $10, the Gads.
Finally, all supplement subscribers, regardless of the tier, get access to our archive of special patron projects. Head over to patreon.com/contrarianprime now to join.
Be sure to listen through the end of the episode to find out what's coming up to the Contrarian Supplements this month. Now, it's time for some Real Talk.
Steve, where are you going?
I'm taking Lindsay away from here. We're going back to Chicago.
Don't do this, Steve. You're scaring me.
I'm scared too, Mom, believe me.
Look, Steve, you have to know that we're here for you, no matter what.
Oh, God. Do you really mean that?
Of course we do.
Okay, then let's all go home.
Stephen, you are home. Cradle Bay is where you belong. Here with your family.
You signed me up for the program?
We want what's best for you.
What about what I want?
Stephen, do you really like the way you feel?
Oh, shut the fuck up. You sold me out.
No, we didn't. We just want you back.
Stephen, please.
Steve! My name is Steve, okay? Nobody calls me Steven except for them.
All right, Julio. Man, it seems like this is the shortest movie we've done in a while. You know, we had back-to-back 2.5-hour films. Hand That Rocks the Cradle, I think, was like 145. It's not often we get into this rarefied hour and 20-minute air, but
Need more of those.
It's true. It's very true. Do we need more movies like this, though? 'Tis the question.
Here's a counter question, Alex. Related, somewhat. Does this movie become better if you add a little bit of runtime?
I don't know. We'll talk about that. Don't worry. Because that's part of the discussion. But for what it is, it's a pretty fun little, hey, it's James Marsden. Hey, it's Katie Holmes. Hey, it's John Connor. Hey, the movie's over. All right.
It's like I said in Conservatives Corner, leave them wanting more. I mean, technically, I think Rosenberg and what's the director, David Nutter?
Yeah.
They took that to heart. Just when they're settling in, freeze frame, roll credits.
Which, based on my limited research on Mr. Nutter, it looked like he had more of a jaunt in the directing of television, but he also stuck close to the sci-fi genre, as we saw here today. He directed the pilot of Supernatural, which I understand is a popular show.
Yeah.
Arrow, The Flash, Terminator, The Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Oh, there you go. That's the John Connor connection.
The tie-in. Yeah, that's right.
I know I recognize his name from Game of Thrones. I know he's directed a handful of those.
Oh, right on. And then written by Scott Rosenberg, who you mentioned we've worked with in the past here.
Yeah, Things to Never with Your Dad seemed like the more appropriate comparison because I really didn't want to go to our patron jaunt when we talked about Beautiful Girls. a more controversial movie.
He also wrote Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, which I believe that was a QVR of mine.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That was during the Roxina experience.
Oh, and here you go. I don't remember this. He did uncredited revisions on the Pain and Gain script also, and Armageddon. So
that's a big year for him. 98.
He's entrenched in Contrarian's lore. He also wrote Venom, which, nobody's perfect. So, 35% on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's go ahead and get the quotes out of the way, Julio, and then we'll talk about why we're covering this movie for our MTV summer journey.
All right. Fresh quotes this time. Lovely red tomatoes from Rotten Tomatoes website. We're going to start with Paul Le. from Bloody Disgusting, who says, while the thematic material here is executed in the most unsubtle manner, it still serves as an important lesson for every generation. What is the lesson, Alex?
Yeah, I'm confused on that as well.
Hey, teachers.
Be yourself?
No, teachers, leave the kids alone.
That
Every
also?
generation needs to learn that. Yeah, maybe be yourself. Be ready to move on, leave your parents behind.
Yeah, revolt against your parents, even if they have your best interest at heart.
There you go. Next, Dustin Putman from thefrightfile.com says, far from perfect, but in its own flawed way, it is perfect to me. Entering my life the summer before my senior year in high school and making an impact on me that has increased rather than lessened in the nearly 2 decades since it was made. So this guy's Empire Records.
Yeah, I was about to say, I suppose that's fair. And yeah, I could see that being a transformative time to see something like this. And whoa, this movie gets me, you know?
Every time this guy, Dustin Putman, sees Katie Holmes dancing in slow motion, he's a teenager again.
I get it, man.
We're going to close with James Sanford from the Kalamazoo Gazette, who says, put together by some of the production team responsible for The X-Files, behavior frequently captures the same weird, wacky atmosphere found in some of the series' more lighthearted episodes. I've never really watched The X-Files, Alex. I know the lore, but I thought they were all weird and wacky. I thought that was the whole point. That Duchovny
I do know tonally they can vary. I've heard that about people who were big fans of the show.
Okay. Yeah, my impression was always that Duchovny was kind of the weird, wacky one, and then Scully was the serious one. And so that was the thing. And that and, you know, I guess the chemistry and the promise of a romance between them. This, I didn't think X-Files. When I was watching it, I thought Twilight Zone, because it felt like an episode of Twilight Zone.
It's a good call.
You know, that core concept of new kid moves into a town where everybody's mind controlled. I mean, then you said it. It's also every other movie about that, like not just Stepford Wives, but also Body Snatchers. Yeah, that kind of stuff, right? But because it's so short and it's so to the point, I can totally get that comparison to an episode of serialized television, even if you don't know that the people behind it, certainly David Nutter, have mostly been behind television stuff. Does that mean it's a good example of that kind of story? I guess that's what we're here to talk about. But I don't know, Alex, what you said, you went in back row blind, so you didn't know anything about the certain behavior other than what the poster was telling you?
Yeah, I just expected it to be like a torrid love triangle based off the poster.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Woe's me.
Yeah, that's not at all what you got. I remember it being about people dying in a small town. That's just, I don't think I've ever sat down and watched this movie all the way through, but I remember it playing on cable. And that's why I was aware of it. You know, the poster, like the little thumbnail that shows up when you're like, you have a cable channel and you're looking through the schedule. And I remember always thinking, oh, I need to record this. I need to watch it because of Katie Holmes. And then catching bits and pieces. I didn't remember a single thing other than they were there. And I guess in the back of my mind, I'm thinking if I ever watched it, it definitely didn't make much of an impression. So this was pretty much watching it for the first time. But I guess the difference between watching it now and watching it when it came out is that James Marsden and Katie Holmes and even Nicholas Stahl, and of course Greenwood, right? Bruce Greenwood, there are names now that wouldn't have carried the same weight if I'd watched it in the late 90s. So that, I think that helps the movie. This is one of those instances where it helps having a preconceived notion of what these actors are like and what they do in a movie usually. Or at least I think it helps most of them. So I don't know. Do you want to start with Katie Holmes, who is the one that gets the spotlight the most in a way?
Yeah, it's a fitting place to begin also because that's why we're here.
That's right.
As at the 1999 MTV Movie Awards, which we've talked about ad nauseum, hosted by Lisa Kudrow, Tobey Maguire and Heather Graham hit the stage to present the award for Breakthrough Female Performance. Nominees included Catherine Zeta-Jones in The Mask of Zorro, Rachel Lee Cook in She's All That, Brandy, and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, Kate Blanchett in Elizabeth, who, for Cate Blanchett, that would not be the last award she was nominated for, nor win. But they all played second fiddle that night to Katie Holmes, who won for her role in Disturbing Behavior.
Wow. Thank you so much. Wow, this means so much. And to all the fans, thank you. This is so exciting. What a great night. And Will Smith, thank you very much.
You kind of piqued my interest with your talking point about this being really a breakaway from her image at the time and would be a breakaway performance for the foreseeable future. I think she's good in this. Do you buy her as a burnout?
No.
Okay. There we go.
I think that's the one instance where I think the baggage, like the preconceived notion of what a Katie Holmes performance is, worked against the movie. I had it got better as it went along, but that
I need to be clear. I don't
introduction-
really think anyone's particularly great, nor do I quote, buy anyone in this movie. So that might be part of it too, where I just kind of give it a pass.
Right. She's as unrealistic as everybody else.
Yeah,
I mean,
correct.
the way they all talk. But no, with her, I just felt the movie and the actress trying so hard to tell me, oh no, but look, she can do it. And I was like, no, Joey Potter. There's something also. I think she gets better as the movie goes along because they stop trying so hard. But like her costuming, right? Like the way that she dresses in that first scene, it's so in your face about like how much of an outcast she is. And then next time you see her, she's just wearing a white tank top and jeans. She's like, and then the time after that, she just looks like a normal, like a well-adjusted girl that's part of the clique. So they go so hard, I think, on that first scene that she gets that it kind of put me off a little bit. But after that, I mean, they're not asking her to do a whole lot other than, well, just try to do your best with this Scott Rosenberg dialogue and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she doesn't even get we said in the Trash Corner, she doesn't get an Oscar clip. Like her big moment is that she murders Chug, who had it coming, but still.
Yeah, she's not given terribly much to do.
Right. Would you have given her the award? The bucket of popcorn?
I don't think I've seen any of those other movies except She's All That. Mask of Zorro I had to have watched at one point. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Why not?
Just spread the love.
That's right. It didn't get any other nominations or anything, so.
She would disappoint a lot of people, though. Like the people that voted for her, and they're like, we give you this bucket of popcorn because we're very interested in seeing what you do in the future. And then, she's acted for 10 years after that? When is it that she retires?
Katie Holmes. She was in Mad Money. That was a movie. I don't even have her filmography pulled up. I just remember that was a movie we had.
Diane Keaton, Queen Latifah. I've seen it.
Yes, we had that forever at the theater. I don't remember exactly why. She has a credit in a movie as recently as 2023.
Sid Oppenheimer.
Rare Objects, a 2023 American drama film co-written and directed by Katie Holmes.
Oh, okay.
Alan Cumming was in it, so it was legit.
Yeah, Nightcrawler. Didn't fuck around. Okay, so maybe she's coming back because I'm guessing her daughter, her kids are older now, so she can get back into it. I mean, even Rick Moranis is coming back, so everybody comes back eventually.
It's true.
I'm joking, but also I am not, in the sense that you see this actress, you give her the award, and they're like, all right, what happens next? And I guess anybody that was curious, they got to see her be in a Batman movie and a couple of not Oscar nominated, but something that had a little bit of buzz. Like that Piece of April movie, I want to say it's critically beloved. And then she's in that movie, First Daughter, I think it's called, with Michael Keaton, where Keaton is the president.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a Disney movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, she did a few things. She became ensnared in the Adam Sandler web of madness. And then, gone. So it kind of feels like, I don't know what she's like as an actress today. I know that in the movies that I've seen of her, she looks like what you would expect in the sense that, oh, well, she's doing the Katie Holmes thing, but obviously she's grown past Dawson's Creek. And then you miss that entire second act of her career. And I guess maybe now we're hitting another one. But all that to say that everywhere that I've seen her, I'm like, that's Katie Holmes. And then I watch her in this movie, in this certain behavior. I'm like, oh, that's Katie Holmes trying to do something else. And I don't know that it works.
It's very interesting that way. maybe even strange would be a word I would use to describe it, of thinking that people younger than you and I might not even have any real wherewithal as it pertains to Katie Holmes. They might know the name or know oh, she was married to Tom Cruise, but she is one of those, like, we lived through her ascent and like her blinding star power, and then it just kind of went away really quick. Not like she faded. It's just like, see ya. It's a very interesting case that way. And obviously, in no small part, her marriage to Tom Cruise and a lot of the publicity that came along with that, I think, was a big part of it. But
she looked at Hollywood and went, what about what I want?
Do you think she sits at home now and wonders, like, could I have been a Marvel?
I think that she sits at home thinking, I could be a Marvel.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing, too. She's got to be comfortable, and she also knows that if she wanted to, she could just get off the couch. And I mean, obviously she's doing some shit still, but you know what I mean by that. If she wanted to, she could come out and be like, hey, I want to be in this movie. And people would be like, okay.
I would like to think so. Then again, I don't know. I mean, they say, the entertainment business can be pretty brutal, especially to women. I can
see there being a lot of like, well, she just up and left before, so we can't trust to like saddle much to her.
Well, no, more in the sense of people would be like, who's going to go watch a Katie Holmes movie? Right? Not because of her talent, but just as in, she no longer has that thing of the Dawson's Creek audience suddenly coming to see whatever she's putting out. And she has, I don't agree, but there is a contingent of people that will tell you that she was not good in Batman Begins. I'm fine with her performance. I think that she's probably, I think they're both fine. Maggie Gyllenhaal and her, like, playing the same character. I think they're different types of performances, but I think Katie Holmes works in Batman Begins the way that Maggie Gyllenhaal works in The Dark Knight. Do you feel differently? How do you feel about her in Batman Begins? Because that's her biggest movie.
How are things?
Same. Job's getting worse.
Can't change the world on your own.
What choice do I have? When you're too busy swimming.
So I don't care enough about this to really go into it a lot, but Katie Holmes is very disarming. Just the way that's what's kind of interesting about her character here. And I think that's obviously where this conversation came from. So I find her as Rachel, I always found it to be interesting. Not necessarily that she's like blow away great or anything, but it brings like this air of calm that Maggie Gyllenhaal, to me, Maggie Gyllenhaal is very good at being intense. That's a compliment I will say about her. And her presence as Rachel in The Dark Knight, to me, is a bit more intimidating. Again, I don't think Miss Holmes is eating rice and tuna every night, but it is funny to me that she said, no, scheduling conflict on one of the highest grossing movies of all time and a movie that changed cinema forever.
That's what she thinks about at night, Alex.
It'd be hard not to, even if you're as rich and famous and live the life of a Katie Holmes. There's a few of those actors that passed on roles that could have like defined their careers, who went on to not do like middling work, but just weren't as big as they could have been had they taken that one role. So that's not the case for Katie Holmes, but you still have to think sometimes like, God damn, you catch it on TNT, the last like 5 minutes of the movie, like I could have been in this.
It'd be weird if Nolan was playing 4D chess the entire time. He planned the entire thing. He's like, no, the first movie, she is his connection. She's about the innocence. So you need Rachel to be played by, like you said, a very disarming actress. She's a lot more, she looks younger than Maggie Gyllenhaal and more, like you said, more innocent. And so that makes sense with the idea of Bruce in Batman Begins still having that sort of childhood attachment to his own innocence. But then by the time you get to Dark Knight, he's been Batman for a while and he's more jaded. And Rachel has grown more jaded. And so Nolan being a mastermind, he planned it. He scheduled the shoot on a time that he knew that Katie Holmes was not going to be available. And he had Maggie in his back pocket. I don't think that's what happened, but you could read it like that.
And he said, It's all part of the plan.
He licked his lips and then he said, as you were describing Katie Holmes and why she works in Batman Begins, I was trying to picture Rachel's death in The Dark Knight with Katie Holmes in it, and it's horrifying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's not that, it's not that I don't feel bad when it happens to the Rachel that we got, to Maggie Gyllenhaal, but her character seems just stronger, I think, and with Katie Holmes, because she looks so young. I think I don't know. I would just feel so much worse. So I don't know. But she is not. Katie Holmes is not the only one that stays up at night thinking about it, Alex. I do sometimes. I'm like, what would happen if Katie Holmes was in The Dark Knight?
Got it.
Would she?
You're right.
Would it be easier for her to come back? If we're assuming in this scenario that she's having trouble coming back, or she could have trouble coming back. I think that if you are you have the two Batmans under your belt, and there's not this alternate narrative where they're saying, oh, it was an improvement when she was recast, when her character was recast, then, nobody can take that away from you. You're like, I was there. I was in Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. I think that they would just bring her in for whatever after. Now, I don't know. I would like to think that she would be able to do whatever she wants. Definitely indie movies would, not indie, but, not big mega blockbusters, but anything else that doesn't care so much about how many billions of dollars we're going to make, but instead we just want a good actress. That's a good actress that's sitting there and hopefully wants to come back.
I think an interesting takeaway from her is that, she still is active, and she's been active since then. And I think if she wanted higher profile projects, she could probably find her way into them. To your point, though, also, if she had been in The Dark Knight, it probably would have been easier for her to call her shot, I guess. Now, someone else who's living comfortable and has made a much greater array of things since this movie was released in 98, despite looking exactly the same, James Marsden here, who, of course, would go on to be Cyclops, the bad guy in the Notebook. He was in the Straw Dogs remake. Did you ever see that?
Yes. Speaking of horrifying.
Definitely. He's Trevor in Bachelorette. Great movie. A guy who's stayed busy, and he's done a lot of things that I really enjoy. He is wet behind the ears, to put it politely, in this. And I say that knowing what he became, both as a good actor and also just a hilarious actor. He certainly saw this as an opportunity, and he's definitely going for it to varying degrees of success, I would say.
Yeah, I think that maybe doesn't help him that Nick Stoll is going for it even harder because the movie wants him to, right? He doesn't. Marsden is kind of stuck playing the very standard protagonist. He's just very, considering that he's dealing internally with the death or the suicide of his brother. He is very well adjusted through most of the movie, which is, it's a choice. I guess that's how you get one of the ways that you get your movie to be an hour and 20 something minutes, is that you play it pretty straightforward with your protagonist. But I think that Nick Stoll kind of steals the movie from him pretty much every time they're together. Was your love for James Marsden like such that you were like, no, this is his movie? Or
no.
Okay.
I enjoyed like just the novelty of him being the rookie here. But yeah, I would agree with you. Nicholas Stahl is certainly comes across as way more polished and ready to tackle the world.
Now that was a guy that was like, where is he right now? What is he doing? With Marsden, I'm like, I don't care that he's putting in. It's not that he's phoning it in. It's just that what he's doing in this movie is nowhere near as interesting as other things. He's not phoning it in.
He's just a young actor who doesn't quite know himself yet.
Exactly. And we've seen him do, so much better. And we know that that's in his future, so that's good. But with Nick Stoll, I mean, I know of a few things that he's in, but then...
Carnival?
No. I was thinking Sin City.
Oh, yeah, good call.
Yeah, Terminator, of course. Sin City. And then, I know, he's a name, but he's not a name the way that Marsden is.
No, not at all. And it's interesting because he's good in Terminator 3. We're not here to have the Terminator 3 discussion. We've done that plenty in our history, and we'll probably do it again someday.
That was not a point of contention, though. We both liked him.
No, I know. I meant because I'm extremely defensive about that movie, and he's really good in it. And he had that, and then Sin City was in close proximity, and then he kind of just did a lot of stuff, but never to as high a profile again, which I don't know if he has a unique look in the sense of, I don't know. At that point in time, they were still looking for, like, I'm doing air quotes here, classically handsome dudes. And like, he's kind of rugged. And I don't know if that played against him. I don't know the story of Nick Stahl. I think he's obviously a veteran actor at this point, and is going back to the early 2000s, had some roles that could have been considered launching posts. It's a shame, man. You go up against Claire Danes, you get trounced. It's just kind of the rules of life we learn along the way.
Yeah. Only one gets picked up to move forward. The rest, try again later.
Why don't you see this? This is so fucking huge.
Gavin.
Don't fucking Gavin me. I'm a dead man. My parents sold me out.
I like him a lot here, and I was very pleased with how he played the two different versions of his character.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the reveal of what he looks like once he's been brainwashed is pretty good. And then his behavior, I mean, in a way, because he's playing it so extreme when he is his regular stone self, I think it probably makes it very easy for him to do the contrast. And now he's going to play it pretty straight laced and it looks different. But that was good. That was, you know, he felt like the actor that was having the most fun in that production and knocking out of the park, which I guess leads to my reaction to the ending that I referenced in Contreras Corner, where I was actually glad to see him alive. And I know, I agree with you. It's not a happy ending in the sense that it's supposed to be foreboding, but I guess because his character is the highlight of the movie for me. So I was just glad that they didn't just not give that character a decent ending, right? Instead, he gets to be like in the final shot. Would you say he's the MVP in this movie, or you're like, there's no MVP in this movie? This movie's just there.
Yeah, I would say so. I was gonna say Bruce Greenwood, but he's just in this comes across as like the most seasoned person on set who's just kind of effortlessly able to deliver lines from a perspective of actually, you know, going for it and trying to use this as an opportunity and being a character that once they're gone, you really miss them. Yeah, when Gavin's like not around anymore, it's like, oh, well, this sucks. And so, yeah, I could agree with you on that Nick Stahl has the MVP role.
Did you think that there was a chance that he might be unbrainwashed, that he might somehow save the day?
I did expect at certain parts for him to, you know, snap out of it. I've watched Halloween 3 too many times.
Not to be, sadly. I that's what I was expecting in the climax. I thought that he was going to lock eyes with Marsden and we're going to see the humanity that was still there. But nope.
Yeah.
Not there. How about the rat catcher guy?
He's the guy from Friday the 13th. You're all doomed.
Yeah, well, he's a little more resourceful than that. But I compared him with the English teacher in Contreras Corner, and I don't think that's fair because I think the English teacher made me laugh, and it's not like he ruins the movie. But I thought that guy, the English teacher, was going a little too hard.
Yeah, that scene sucked. Okay,
good. You sounded a little too affectionate in Contreras Corner, so I thought maybe he really did like it. Yeah, that's somebody that's doesn't realize that he's not that big of a part. Like that guy needed to tone it down. Like you're here for one scene, and you're just the teacher. You're here just so that we can get to know the other students. It's not about your character. But the rat catcher guy, I mean, even when he is not pretending to be a little off, he's still pretty eccentric. But I bought it, and I liked him. Like I thought that character was going to get on my nerves, but instead, I think that he's just right there. Like they don't overuse him, and they give him a couple of hero moments. So I think that overall, this is one of those movies that I'm not going to say lucks out on having a pretty decent cast, but it definitely, if these actors didn't work, if they work a little bit less, then I would just be complaining about the movie a lot more. And if the runtime, I guess, went for longer. But for an hour and 24 minutes or whatever this is, with this cast that pretty consistently nails it, it's a surprisingly good experience, I guess. Because, I mean, I don't know, man. It's not really the kind of movie that I would go to. I was thinking of The Faculty. Have you seen The Faculty?
Dude, I got serious Faculty vibes throughout this too. It's Faculty, Body Snatchers, Stepford Wives, Halloween 3. It's all in there.
Do you like The Faculty though?
It's okay. It's a movie of its time.
Yeah, I remember watching it and it kind of leaving me cold. And at the time, being a huge disappointment because, I was very interested in what Robert Rodriguez was going to do with his career. So I'm like, oh, he's doing The Faculty. Okay, well, what is that? And I remember not being able to catch it in theaters. So then eventually, when I finally got around to watching it, I rented it or on cable. I was like, oh, that was it? I was really excited about it having Robert Patrick in it. And so that could have happened with this movie, I think. But thankfully, it did. I think that it's just an easy watch. No music video, though. So that's a shame.
That is a shame.
Every time one of these kids gets a hard on, they go out and beat somebody with it.
Mention the cuts. It's time we talk about the turmoil this movie faced. The film went through numerous studio-mandated cuts from MGM prior to the theatrical release in response to negative test screenings. There's been considerable fan support for the release of the director's cut for a version that restores deleted scenes. So initially, this movie was 3 hours and in black and white. So the mandated recuts and a reshoot of the original ending due to negative test screenings. Many of the cuts were to scenes providing plot and character development. After the first test audience screening, Nutter cut the backstory for Steve's brother, Alan, as well as a love scene between Steve and Rachel. But when the film again tested below studio's expectations, MGM proceeded to take full control of the film and hire another editor, George Folsey Jr. Let's see what some of his other work includes. Coming to America, Blues Brothers, Animal House, Dirty Work.
He brought in the funny.
He did. Yeah, Dirty Work would have been the closest to this, along with Bulletproof, that not good Damon Wayans and Adam Sandler movie. So anyway, he's brought in, he makes further cuts. Nutter was instructed to shoot a new ending in which the character of Gavin survives, as test audiences had disliked the plot where Gavin dies.
Here I raise my hand.
Yeah. I have a question and a comment. Hello, Julio Oliveira. Cuts of the film were so severe that Nutter considered having his name removed from the credits, but decided not to out of respect to the cast and crew. David Nutter said he envisioned the film as an atmospheric X-Files style thriller, but the studio wanted a Scream-style teen horror. What was I saying earlier about knowing its audience, what they were trying to get? He commented their attitude was, let's just get to the fright beats. They felt teenagers wouldn't sit through a picture that was more than 90 minutes. Well, they might have been onto something there.
So you're telling me there's a lot of Ethan Embry on the cutting room floor?
Oh, here you go. In total, the studio cut 31 minutes worth of the film.
Oof.
Yeah, that makes me wonder if Ethan Embry actually had fucking speaking lines.
Right? Like you actually find out. I don't think you need to. I don't think that you need to know why he killed himself. Unless it has more to do with the story. But in the sense that all I need to know about the James Marsden character is that his brother committed suicide and that haunts him. And that's really all I need. Now, if there's specifics leading to the suicide, like specific plot points that would then be mirrored or have an effect on the plot in present day, then I can see how that would be a problem. But I didn't feel that was missing. What I felt, I forgot to bring it up, is that the character of the sister, she shows up at the end with UV. I'm like, how did she get there? Because last time we saw her, the Blue Ribbons had stormed the house and were taking Marsden captive and had already taken Katie Holmes, and they were taking the little girl too. So how do we go from that scene to her coming with UV and saving the day, like rescuing them? That is a big chunk of story that I felt was missing.
Yeah, she just is like at one point selected to be a Blue Ribbon, and then she's not. It seemed obviously the turmoil or the urgency was more with Katie Holmes than his sister. So yeah, it was kind of weird.
I'm glad that they cut you said the love scene. It's a sex scene, right? Between Katie Holmes and Marsden.
I assume so. I don't know if it could be a love scene. Maybe they just went to IKEA and bought some furniture and built it together.
They just held hands as they browsed.
They looked into each other's eyes and said, I see you.
I don't need that. This movie uses sex as a trigger, which is fine. I mean, I don't think it's saying that sex is bad. It's just making the acknowledgement that when you're a teenager, sex is one of those things that influences your actions heavily. And of course, if somebody's fucking with your head.
Teenager?
Yeah.
The joke was I'm a near 40-year-old man and it still influences my behavior.
Oh, well, yes. But how many people have you killed recently, Alex?
Touche.
Like, I think that if you put a sex scene in the movie that doesn't deal with violence, it would either feel very gratuitous, like you're pandering to the audience. It's like, oh, it's a horror movie, so you need to have some sex. And that, I think that would cheapen the whole thing. Or you would be getting in something that's a lot more complex for what this movie is trying to do, because then now you're trying to give me like healthy sex versus unhealthy sex. And I was like, is that really the path that this movie wants to walk?
It's right in front of you. You're dancing around it. Gavin dies. He doesn't come back for the ending. The ending is James Marsden and Katie Holmes go to have sex. And
yes,
then her eye illuminates, and then you cut to the credits.
Dude, I thought that there was a chance that that could happen when they kiss at the end. Like, they're on the boat.
Halloween 3 style, when he rescued her from the chair, she was still already there. It was like, oh, they already did the procedure, man.
100%. 100%. Because she seems so out of it that I was like, all right. And then she killed Chug. With, pretty easily. So I was like, oh, is she getting like that adrenaline rush because she is, the procedure took place. So yeah, okay, well then that would be an amazing sex scene. That would make perfect sense. That's how you close the movie. Then I forgive you for killing Nicholas Stahl. Give me the deadly sex scene where Katie Holmes becomes possessed. That's awesome. And then I was gonna say, it works in the movie in a certain way, but if you're gonna beef this movie up and give me a little bit more runtime, I could probably have a little more time with him deciding that he's going to just take off without even telling his parents. Did that feel weird to you? Or you're like, no, the movie's trying to make a point that he needs to break free because his parents don't understand him.
No, I agree. I was like, this is, they are supposed to be a family going through a lot. And so if he's just going to go start a new life, it seems like there'd be a little bit more discussion or reason given why.
At least give me some scenes where his parents are being just so difficult to be with that I'm like, I get it. That's why he's not even saying goodbye. He's just escaping. But they seem like a fairly well-adjusted family. I mean, they don't want him to bring up Ethan Embry when they're having dinner. I get it. They're going through a lot. But they didn't seem like abusive parents. So it was weird. At the same time, because I was having an okay time with the movie, with the story, I'm like, all right, I guess it's that type of movie. James Marsden just decided that he's going to make this radical decision and be done.
Tell me, Shannon, do you get yelled at if you talk about your dead grandfather?
Steve.
Because around here, people go crazy if we talk about our dead brother.
I don't know, man. Do you want to watch the Alamo Drafthouse does the screening of the 2-hour cut of Disturbing Behavior with David Nutter in attendance, but it's like $50 for a ticket.
I'd consider it, which is obviously more than I would have said a little while ago, earlier today.
Like, they promoted, Nutter goes on like the pre-show and says, this is the only chance you're going to have watching it, because this is not going to streaming, it's not going to DVD. After the screening, I'm taking the film, taking it back home, putting it in my basement.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. According to an interview with Fangoria, David Nutter was close to getting a director's cut released on DVD, but MGM prevented him from finishing the restoration.
My God, why? So vindictive.
In 2000, MGM released Disturbing Behavior on DVD. It included a director's commentary in addition to 11 deleted scenes not seen in the theatrical version, which included the original ending where Gavin meets a different fate than the one they use in the theatrical cut. The deleted scenes exist as an extra feature and are not inserted into the film. A Blu-ray version, which carries over existing extras, was released by Shout Factory on March 22nd of 2016. The version of the film has subsequently gone out of print. The film was eventually re-released on Blu-ray through MVD Rewind Collection on August 11th of 2022. This version again carries over the existing extras from the DVD release. So, as of now, there's no fully vetted version. The United States cable networks Sci-Fi and Comet have been known to air somewhat of an unofficial director's cut of the film with the deleted scenes reinstated, although the film is still shown with the theatrical ending. The director's cut was never released, but there have been online circulations of fan edit versions of the movie that splice it all together.
The way it was meant to be seen. You can always trust the internet to
fuck
prevail.
off.
I mean, look, I'm not against it now. I'm going to tell you, I don't know that I would pay $50.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
But would I sit down and watch the clips online just to see what I missed? Yeah, not right away, but I am curious. I think that this movie, this is not a hot statement, but I think this movie could be better than what it is, and what it is okay. But it's not like I'm thinking that this is the best it could be, because I like a lot of what Scott Rosenberg has written, and especially after what you just read, David Nutter knows that there are problems with the movie. It's not like this person that's just deluded into thinking that they made like an amazing thriller. So the idea that there are these pieces floating out there that actually make it a better movie, that's kind of exciting.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Because I don't dislike this by any stretch. I don't know if I'm going to ever own it, but I would be interested, just like you're saying, if there becomes this touring print available, then who fucking knows?
David Nutter, he's doing it himself. He has it, I don't know, 6-7 cans, loads them in his truck, chugs along to the next town, shows up at every screening, tells the story, answers the same questions, moves on to the next show. You can see it start wearing on him. By the time you get to the 100th screening, he goes from looking like Nick Stahl after his Blue Ribbon, and then by the end, he's looking like Nick Stahl in Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. What is your score, Alex?
My score, Julio, I think this is a classic case of you can't rate all movies the same way, or, a C doesn't mean the same thing as another C. And in that case, I would give this a C. I don't know, like 2.5 stars, something like that, but an enthusiastic C, or an enthusiastic 2.5 stars, just in the sense of it is kind of a novelty seeing it. And the discussion we've had has actually made me kind of, I don't know if I want to say I appreciate the movie more, but I appreciate this viewing experience and kind of what the parts of the movie I appreciate a bit more. So an enthusiastic C, it does have the element of the attraction, I should say, of if I'm talking to someone who's never seen it before, I'm just like, oh man, it's like a young James Marsden who hasn't quite figured out, how to utilize his tools as an actor yet. And Katie Holmes is really hot, but also trying to be like a bad girl. So it's kind of weird. And then Nick Stahl, who didn't, go on to do nearly as much as either of them commercially. He's there kind of stealing the show. And then Bruce Greenwood's on set just to remind people what a real actor looks like. And it's, I could sell it too on Ethan Embry's in it, but he doesn't have any lines. He just exists as a character from the past. But I would tell people it's like, you've seen it before. Because, what did I say? Stepford Wives, Halloween 3, Body Snatchers, all the movies we've kind of compared it to thus far. It certainly breaks no molds, but it's, I'm glad we did this. I'm glad we included it. And an enthusiastic C is what I will give it.
Yeah, I'm landing on 2.5 stars, so I'm pretty much right there with you. I think it's funny. I had a good time. At the same time, I don't know how often it happens that you watch a movie and you are fully aware of all its limitations and all the, you're like, this is not great. But you're not having a bad time. But it's just one of those that even at an hour and 20-something minutes, I don't think that I would have finished it if we were not doing it for the show. And that's not because I was having a bad time, but just because, our time in this planet is limited. Like, I don't know that this is giving me anything that I couldn't get anywhere else, right? Like, there are better James Marsden movies. There's certainly better Katie Holmes vehicles. And Nick Stahl, that might be my selling point, would be the Nick Stahl performance. I was like, Nick Stahl, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But this movie actually lets him be fun and then be evil. So if anything, that's what I would say. That and the opening. I think that the opening, even before you get to the murder, the opening credits are so fucking weird. I forgot to bring that up in Contrarian's Corner. The music and the flash.
Oh, dude,
images.
It's like a fucking horror movie. And yeah, the scene where they go to the mental institution, I forgot to call out. It was very Halloween 6 to me. I was like, is he going to beat him over the head with the lead pipe now?
Yes.
But yeah, the opening credits like dung dang.
Yeah.
Bang, bang. Like, it's very like horror-esque. With the way this movie uses music, you would think the opening credits would be set to something like fucking punk rock or like Cottonmouth Kings, something really niche of the time.
I mean, I'm not saying I disliked it, but it's definitely memorable. So I would tell anybody, just watch the first 10 minutes of the movie. And then.
Yeah, I went back. My first note is, fuck are these opening credits?
Whoever did the score, we salute you. It's effective. I don't know if it fits the entirety of the movie, but it definitely fits that opening. And I think they play it again when they're in that mental hospital. That's why it's so jarring when you go from the score to the pop song that plays as they're running away. It was like, wow.
Yeah.
They're really playing with us. But yeah, 2.5 stars, just a mild recommend. And be like, if you find yourself wishing that you'd seen more things with Katie Holmes or Nick Stahl, and this one fits the bill. And then, you can also start crossing your Scott Rosenberg bingo card, just marking those spots, because that's an interesting filmography. Would you say, Alex, that the dialogue, I mean, we kind of joked about it in Concerns Corner, but would you say this dialogue is on par with what he did in Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead?
I think I'd give that movie a little more credit.
Yeah, me too. But I can see why it's the same writer. It's just that I think it works better when it's gangsters and
yes,
they have like backstory for like the little things that they say. Whereas like here, it's just like teenagers that sound like they're trying to be cool. They're trying to sound cool. But anyway, I don't begrudge Scott Rosenberg his flair for dialogue, at least in these early movies of his. But 2.5 stars. Alex, are you ready for what's coming next?
I don't know, Julio. What's coming next?
This is the construct. It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing to equipment, weapons, training simulations, anything we need.
Not quite the end of the journey, but in a way, the end of the 90s, you could call it, a transitional movie to the 2000s, something that...
God, the end of the 90s is such an amazing way of putting that. Well done, Julio. Yeah.
We are talking, of course, of The Matrix that's coming up next. It's fresh, as if you couldn't guess that. So we're going to be making fun of it, picking it apart on the next episode, and then we'll tell you how we really feel. I haven't watched The Matrix, the first one, in a long time, Alex. I rewatched the sequels a couple of years ago, and they are as terrible as... They were even worse than I remembered. But the first one still holds a special place in my heart, so...
Hold on now.
You gotta defend Reloaded?
No. But they've been soundly Elizabeth-towned by Resurrections.
I don't know, man. They're really bad. You need to rewatch them.
You need to rethink of Resurrections, because I had that. You were like mad in that discussion. That was like rare Julio, like legitimately angry talking about a movie.
Resurrections is bad, but Reloaded and
they're both bad.
Revolutions are also bad.
Okay, so as like the lead in to what we're going to be doing here, I own the trilogy on Blu-ray. It was one of those like 3-piece sets.
Uh-huh.
And a few years ago, I was like, I'm going to watch all 3 of these. I watched the first one again. I watched it in my room, and by the end, I'm not kidding, I was standing in front of my TV, like just about fucking 18 inches away from the monitor, just like, oh my God. And then I watched Reloaded. I was like, it was so bad that it killed my like will to watch Revolutions. So I never even rewatched Revolutions. The first Matrix, it'll be a fun episode. To those listening, still stick around to the end of this. It'll be fun because, it is easy to kind of parody and tease, but it's also, goddamn, man, what a movie. And not just how many times have we done movies, Julio, from like the first decade of the 2000s that I've said this was trying to be like The Matrix,
yep.
And the soundtrack and just outside of the actual movie itself, I think we'll have a lot of fun talking about living through The Matrix, and just like how for a moment in time it gripped all of pop culture.
Yes, I have a pretty good story about going to see The Matrix, or trying to go see The Matrix, which I might have told you before, but not on the show.
I also have a story of the first time I watched The Matrix, so we'll have story time on the next episode.
There you go. Something to look forward to, dear listeners. And then, if you're a patron, you have even more stuff to look forward to. Our bonus episode for the month of August comes courtesy of patron Ryan, he of Spit and Polish and the Yum Yum podcast. Alex, have you ever heard of a movie that features your name on it called Who Killed Captain Alex?
No.
Well, we hopefully will find out who killed Captain Alex when we watch it, but we'll be talking about that on the Patreon feed. I've heard of the movie. I don't know anything else about it other than it exists. Then for QVRs, we're doing a dual QVR, and I teased this on my individual QVR for Barry Lyndon. It's a Stanley Kubrick movie, and I said at the time that I looked forward to revisiting another Stanley Kubrick movie. This one would be Dr. Strangelove, which I knew was set up for a dual QVR of ours. So we're going to be doing that, watching that, doing a video review for it on our YouTube channel. And then, Alex, we have Contrarians After Hours. And this one, I guess in a way also is going to take care of a movie that's referenced more often than anyone would think on our show, because you love that joke from, is it 30 Rock?
Parks and Rec.
Parks and
Rec.
Rec.
Donna asks, what's Rashida Jones' name in that? Is it Ann Perkins?
Yeah.
Are you Nell from the movie Nell? Yeah, dude. And I'm going to have to track down that article from years ago that I read. There was this guy who had this blog going that the whole point of it was to try to find the worst movie of all time. And he wrote, I remember being in tears reading his review of Nell on that. So I'll see if I can track that down.
All right. Well, Nell, the movie Nell will be covered on our After Hours. It is, I never would have guessed that it was an MTV Movie Award nominee or winner, but apparently it is. And so it fits with our theme.
Hilariously divisive movie also. Just, I think Jodie Foster got like an Oscar nomination for it. And there's people that just think it's one of the dumbest movies ever. So should be a hell of a time.
Yep. Look forward to that. So that's going to be on our Patreon channel, patreon.com/Contrarian Prime. Alex, let's get out of here.
Self-mutilate this, fluid boy. Welcome to our end credits.
Or as we usually call them, our perennial plugs.
We start off by giving thanks to the Festive Years who provide our opening and closing tracks. They kick us off with Last Stand and take us home with Summer of 99. Be sure to head over to thefestiveyears.com for any and all Festive Years needs.
Our friend and fellow podcaster Hans Rothgieser is the man behind our logo and all the art you see related to our show. Reach out to him and let him know how much you like that little tomato. His email address is mildemonios@hotmail.com and his website is mildemonios.pe. That's MILDEMONIOS. Hans, thank you for all your support.
For those interested in the regularly absurd world of professional wrestling, Joe and the boys over at latenightgrin.com have you covered. Tell them the Contrarians sent you.
And we like to close with special thanks to our social media team of Zoe Perez and Corey Ari. Each of the social media accounts we mentioned in the introduction look as good as they do because of their work.
So that'll do it for this episode of The Contrarians, where we're right and you're wrong, and we will catch you next time.
Just for old time's sake, I really don't